Hi everyone, let's start chemistry paper 1, Cambridge OLevel, October-November 2023, variance 12, 5070. Duration of this paper is 1 hour. We cannot apply correction fluid on the paper. We don't need to write anything on the barcodes. Also, we have 40 questions in this paper, which means the total mark for this paper is 40. Periodic table is given at the end of the question paper, but you need to prepare qualitative analysis notes, which includes identification of cations and anions, solubility and test for different gases, and flame test of different metals. All right. By the way, you cannot, record your answer through pen. In fact, you need to use soft pencil in order to shade your answer in the multiple choice answer sheet. All right. So you guys have to be very, very careful in that because it's very, very important for the examiner to scan your paper. So you guys need to use soft pencil for that. Let's see what we have in this paper. Question number 1. Solid, oh my God, let me fix it first. Solid substance is placed in a flask. The flask is gently heated. So first of all, remember, you are heating a solid. And if you're heating the solid, either it will turn to liquid or either it will turn to gas. If it will turn to liquid, this process is going to be melting. If solid is going to be converted into gas, it's going to be sublimation. Let's see what we have in it. And the temperature of the substance is recorded at regular time intervals. The diagram shows a graph of temperature against time for this experiment. At which point does the flask contain both a solid and a liquid? So we are doing the melting process technically. This is the sketch for melting. Melting is sketch. An examiner is looking for a point at which you guys will found solid and liquid both the state. All right. You know, melting starts from this point. Oh, sorry, heating starts from this point. Melting starts from this. If melting starts from this point, obviously at this point, I'll get both solid and liquid. But at this point, all the solid will turn to liquid. So at this point, melting finishes or melting completes. All right. Then you start heating the liquid again. So from my perspective, B is going to be the right answer because at B, I'll get both liquid and solid. Solid and liquid both exist. Solid at point C, solid completely turn into liquid. That's what we have done in the class. Okay, question number 2. A crystal of sodium chloride is dropped into a beaker of water and the crystal dissolves. There are 4 stages in this process. First, the water molecule collide with the ions in the crystal lattice. That might be the right option. All right, because when you place NaCl in water, it ionizes into its sodium ions and chloride ions. Now solution contain water, so these cations and anions collide with each other. All right. Next is ionic bonds in the crystal break. Not in the crystal technically. Not in the crystal. Then we have hold on a second. I'm just a little bit confused in this option as well. Water molecule collide with the ions in the crystal lattice. Actually, when sodium chloride is placed in water, it dissociates into its sodium and chloride ions. But these ions will remain present in the water molecule and they cannot collide actually. They cannot collide. Yeah. Cannot collide. The first statement is also incorrect. Next is the ions move randomly. That's right. In all directions. That's also right. And they are evenly spread out throughout the solution. That's right. So that's the statement, which is right. Let's talk about fourth statement. The ions continue to move randomly in all directions. Ions don't need to move randomly in all directions. Yeah, that's right, because this is right, so this is also right, but remains evenly spread throughout the solution. Not remains evenly, not remains. So I don't think so. Fourth is going to be the correct option. I think C is going to be the right answer in this choice. Because examiner is looking for the diffusion occurs. So diffusion is a process in which the movement of molecules and ions takes place in all direction and they move evenly throughout the solution. Okay. So in diffusion, cannot remain evenly separated. At one side might be more, the opposite side should be less. So not evenly, right? Not all the time. W is ethene, X is air, Y is iodine, and Z is a brass. So brass and air are mixture. Brass is a mixture of metal and air is a mixture of gases. So X and Z both are mixtures, right? Iodine is a molecule. And molecule consists of elements and atoms. So iodine is basically this. All right. Ethene is basically a compound. So ethene is a compound, and therefore D is going to be the right option for us. Question 4. Which statement about the isotopes of bromine is correct? They are atoms with the same number of electrons and different number of pure protons. That's incorrect because in isotopes we have same number of electrons and same number of protons. So this is incorrect. It should be same. Okay. Next, they are the atoms with the same number of electrons. That's absolutely incorrect because they have different number of neutrons. Next is they are atoms with the same number of protons. That's right. And so they have same chemical property. That's also right. So C is going to be the right answer. Because if proton number are same, electron is also same, and the chemical properties of isotopes depends on number of electrons. Since number of electrons are same, so chemical properties will remain same. And obviously, C is going to be the right answer. Question number 5. Which diagram shows a section of an ionic lattice of sodium chloride? In sodium chloride, sodium ions is attracted with chloride ions. So sodium and chloride attract together, sodium and chloride attract together, sodium and chloride, sodium and chloride, sodium and chloride. They are all attracting each other because of electrostatic attraction, because of that force of attraction exists between positive and negative ion. I believe A is going to be the right answer. B is incorrect because two similar ions cannot interact together. This is going to be incorrect. Sodium cannot be negatively charged since sodium is a metal and all metal forms cation by the loss of electrons, so it needs to be positive instead of negative, which is why C is incorrect. D is also incorrect because they have negatively charged ion. Also, the charges are same, which is not possible. And also, sodium is negatively charged, chlorine is positively charged, which is not possible. So A is absolutely correct. Question number 6. When dilute hydrochloric acid is added to aqueous lead to nitrate, a white precipitate of lead to chloride is formed. Write the ionic equation for this reaction. So when lead to nitrate is reacting with hydrochloric acid, converting into lead chloride and nitric acid. All right. Okay. Nitrate ions, spectator ions cancel out with each other. So the remaining ions would be from here lead ions, from here chloride ions. Obviously, hydrogen ions cancel out with each other as well because hydrogen ions are also spectator ions, and that will give you PbCl2. So that CC is going to be the right answer because that's the ionic equation for this reaction. Okay. Let's talk about question number 7. Which row shows a pair of molecules where the MR of compound X is exactly half that of compound Y? First of all, we need to take out the MR of each molecule. The MR of carbon dioxide is 44, and the MR of propene, that is 30 plus 14, is going to be 44. So that's incorrect because they are not half. 35.5 plus 29 is going to be 64.5, and 35.5 times 2 plus 28 is going to be 99. Obviously, it's again incorrect because they are not exactly the half. Examiner is looking for a MR of compound X is exactly that half of compound Y. So that's not half. Ethanoic acid is 60 and ethane is 46. Again, it's not half. C is also incorrect, and therefore D is going to be the right answer because ethyl ethanoate has an MR of 88, and the half of 88 is 44, which is right. So there's exactly the half. Question number 8. One volume of a gaseous element X2 combines with an equal volume of gaseous hydrogen atom to form 2 volumes of gaseous hydride. So first of all, one volume of gaseous X2, that's one volume of gaseous X2, combines with equal volume of gaseous hydrogen, that is one volume of gaseous hydrogen. They are reacting together, converting into 2 volumes of gaseous hydride. So that's actually HX. So what is the formula of the hydride of X? So that's basically HX. So HX is going to be the right answer. That's an easy question. Which reaction would produce the greatest volume of carbon dioxide at room temperature and pressure? MR of different substances are given. Burning or 1 gram of carbon. So that's an easy task. C, 1 mole of a gas occupy 24 dm3 at RT. All right. If we have 2 moles of gas, obviously the volume is going to be 48 dm3. That indicates greater the volume, greater the number of moles, higher the volume, and vice versa also. Let's suppose if we have 1 mole of gas occupy 24 dm3 volume. So if gas has 0.5 mole, let's suppose, so volume is going to be half again, that is 12 dm3. So my point is, higher the number of moles, greater the volume, lower the number of moles, lower the volume. So examiner is looking for the greatest volume of carbon dioxide. The greatest volume will always come when we have greatest number of moles. So take out the number of moles, greatest number of moles actually. So we have 1 mole of carbon. So 1 divided by 12 is going to be 0.0833 moles of carbon dioxide, because both carbon and carbon dioxide have same 1:1 ratio. If carbon has this number of moles, obviously carbon dioxide has the same number of moles. Now the next is thermal decomposition of 10 gram of calcium carbonate. 10 gram of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate has an MR of 100. So when we 10 divided by 100 is going to be 1.0. 10 divided by 100 is going to be 0.1 mole. So obviously moles of carbon dioxide is again 0.1 mole because of 1:1 ratio. So here we have 0.0833 moles. We have 0.1 mole. Let's talk about option C. We have 10 divided by 106. So I'll get moles of sodium carbonate. 10 divided by 106, I'll get 0.094 moles. So since sodium carbonate and carbon dioxide has 1:1 ratio, so if I have 0.094 moles of sodium carbonate, obviously moles of carbon dioxide is also same, which is 0.0943 moles. Last but not the least, we have 50 cm cube of 1 mole per dm sulfuric acid. So 1000 cm cube contain 1.0 mole. So if we have 50 cm cube, so how much moles we have? 50 divided by 1000, you will get what? 0.05 moles of copper carbonate. We have same number of moles of carbon dioxide because of 1:1 ratio, right? So which one is the greatest number of moles? Obviously, in B, carbon dioxide has the largest or greatest number of moles, which means I believe B is going to be the right answer. All right. Higher the moles, higher the volume. Lower the moles, lower the volume. Question number 10. Chrome alum is the common name of the salt which has the formula this. What is the percentage by mass of chromium in chrome alum? First of all, take out the MR of chrome alum. Chromium plus potassium plus sulfur times 2 plus oxygen times 8. I think chromium has an AR of 52, potassium is 39, sulfur is 32 into 2 plus oxygen times 8. So how much MR? My goodness, let me check. 52 plus 39 plus 32 times 2 plus 16 times 8 is going to be 283. Let me double check. Plus 32 plus 16 times 4. Okay, that's fine. 32 plus 16 times 4 into 2 plus 39 plus 52, 283, right? So that's the MR. Now we have one chromium atom. So in order to calculate the percentage by mass of chromium, the AR of chromium is 52. We have only one atom in the molecule, so it should be into 1 divided by MR, which is 283 into 100. Let me check how much mass we have. 52 divided by answer into 100. It's 18.3%. 37%. So basically it's 18.4%, and 18.4% is given in B, which means B is going to be the right answer. Okay. Question number 11. The equation shows the production of iron by the reduction of iron 3 oxide. 80 tons of iron 3 oxide produces 50 tons of iron. What is the percentage yield? By the way, this is the practical yield. Okay, and we need to find out the theoretical yield by using this value. So first of all, take out the MR of Fe2O3. Iron is 56 times 2 plus 16 times 3 is going to be 160. The MR of this compound is 160. The MR of Fe is 56 times 2. It's going to be 112. So if I'll use 80, it's going to be half again, which is 52. So 52 is basically the theoretical. So calculate the percentage yield. Practical yield is 50 divided by theoretical yield, which is 52 into 100. So 50 divided by 52 into 100 is going to be 96.1%. So 96 to hai nahi. Okay, let me check. 50 divided by 52 into 100. 96.1. Hold on. Oh, my bad, my bad. What a silly mistake I've done. This is 56, right? This is 56. So 50 divided by 56 into 100 is basically 89.2. 89.2%. So 89.2%. So D is going to be the right answer. Okay. You guys needs to be have to be very careful in your calculations. Aqueous copper to sulfate is electrolyzed using copper electrode, which show correctly describes what happens. Since copper is a reactive electrode, so at anode, it dissolves itself, meaning copper is oxidized into copper ions and electrons. So obviously mass of anode decreases. Whereas at cathode, copper ions gain electron and convert it into copper metal, which means mass of copper cathode increases. So mass of anode decreases, mass of cathode increases, and color of electrolyte remains same, that is blue, because the concentration of copper ion in the solution would be same. Solution remains blue. That was the conclusion. Remains blue, remains blue. Right answer is going to be C. We have done the entire process in the class, so you guys have to be very careful in such calculations. Hydrogen reacts with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. The enthalpy change for this reaction can be calculated using bond energies or bond enthalpies. What is the value of delta H for this reaction? So we have a formula. Delta H equals to delta H reactants minus delta H products. So delta H reactant is hydrogen, which is 436, and reactant is chlorine, which is 242. So that's my reactant minus product. Product is HCl, which has 431 multiplied by 2 because we have 2 moles. So it's basically how much? 436. 436 plus 242. 678 minus 431 times 2 is basically 862. 678 minus answer is going to be minus 184 kilojoules per mole, minus 184. So B is going to be the right answer. Nitrogen and oxygen react as shown. Okay, the enthalpy change for the reaction shown is this. If 2 moles of nitrogen and 2 moles of oxygen are used, what will be the enthalpy change? First of all, we need to take out the we need to find out the limiting reactant in this scenario. So we have nitrogen, we have oxygen converting into 2NO. 2. So we have 1 mole here, 2 mole, and this is 2 mole. Now examiner is saying, what if we have 2 moles of this? Okay. And 2 moles of oxygen. So if it is 1 mole, it is 2 mole, right? If it is 1 mole, it is 2 mole. So if number of moles of nitrogen increases, 1, 2, 2, I believe number of moles will remain same. Number of moles of oxygen will remain same. I think so. I firmly believe in that, this must be the case. So basically, same number of moles of NO2 would be formed, because this is 2 mole, this is also 2 mole. If according to question it is 2 mole, it is also 2 mole, which means oxygen is the limiting reactant. So reaction is controlled by oxygen. So if reaction is controlled by oxygen and 2 moles of NO2 will remain same, then it means energy would be same. So what I mean to say is okay. Let me do it in some other way. Let me do it with some other way. Let me do it. Let me check one more time. See, according to the question, it is 2 mole. It is 2 mole, right? Now, according to the equation, this is 1 mole. All right. And according to the equation, this is 2 mole. So limiting reactant says, if you half this, obviously this is going to be half again, right? So this needs to be 1 mole, which means it is the limiting reactant. I hope it makes sense to you now. Which means reaction is controlled through oxygen molecule. So if oxygen and NO2 have the same molar ratio, NF66 kilojoule energy is released due to the formation of 2 NO2 moles. So number of moles of NO2 will remain same at the end of the reaction, which means energy would also be same. Okay. So I hope it makes sense to you. Same number of moles of NO2 is produced. And since oxygen is a limiting reactant, which means same energy has been released during the reaction, or same energy has been produced during the reaction. That is plus 66. Okay, question number 15. Physical changes and chemical changes occur in the substances. Which process describe a chemical change? Chemical change process in which new substances or new compounds are formed. Okay. So covalent bonds in methane molecule are broken. Exactly. Covalent bonds in methane molecule are broken. Then obviously you will get carbon dioxide and water through combustion, right? So in option A, there is a chemical change takes place. So intermolecular attraction between water molecule are broken. So if water exists in liquid state, if you heat it, it will remain water, but state is going to change. So during heating, covalent bond will remain same. Only intermolecular forces are broken. So that's a physical change, because only state is changes from liquid to gas, right? There is no chemical process because same product is formed. Only state changes. Ionic bond in sodium chloride lattice are broken. So when ionic lattice is broken, obviously sodium ions and chloride ions are formed. Obviously sodium chloride and sodium ions and chloride ions, they will experience electrostatic attraction in the same way in the crystal lattice, which means C is a physical change, not a chemical change, because nothing new is formed. Manufacture of brass from copper and zinc, obviously an alloy is formed. So technically appearance will change, physical appearance will change, physical properties will change, not chemical properties, because in chemical properties, same conduction of electricity takes place, same process will take place, right? So my answer is going to be an A. Question 16, quite a lengthy question. Two methods used by students to measure the rate of reaction are the disappearing cross method. We did that in the class, and the loss in mass method, which we have done as well in the class. For the disappearing cross method, the student measures the time taken for the reaction mixture to go cloudy. For the loss of mass method, the student measures the loss of mass over a known time interval. All right. Warm aqueous silver nitrate is added to chlorobutane. Chlorobutane has a formula like this. Butane means 4 carbon atom. This is butane and this is chloro. So this is chlorobutane dissolved in ethanol. Ethanol is technically a solvent here. Two products are formed. One is an organic product which is soluble in ethanol, and the other is silver chloride, which is insoluble in water. So this is insoluble in water, obviously used for experiment 1. I will use this experiment for the disappearing cross method, because when silver chloride precipitates appear, obviously the cross go cloudy after a short span of time. Piece of solid calcium carbonate are added to dilute hydrochloric acid. When the piece of solid calcium carbonate is added into the dilute hydrochloric acid, there is carbon dioxide gas is given off. If carbon dioxide gas is given off, it will given off very slowly from the cotton wool, and there is a change in mass. So experiment 2 is basically the change in mass. Because carbon dioxide gas is given off slowly. And due to the formation of precipitates, these are the insoluble precipitates. So cross method is suitable for this reaction 1. So let me repeat the whole summary. Reaction 1, in reaction 1, insoluble precipitates of silver chloride are formed. So this experiment is solely and clearly applicable for the disappearing cross method. So disappearing cross method for reaction 1, and for reaction 2, there is a change in mass due to the removal of carbon dioxide slowly and gradually. So loss in mass, I believe B is going to be the right answer. Question number 17, hydrogen is used in the reactant both as the Haber's process and its addition to alkenes. Which row is correct? Haber's process, in Haber's process, iron is used as a catalyst. And in the hydrogenation of alkene is produced. So my answer is going to be an A for question number 17. That's an easy question. Question 18. We have done this question in class. Chlorine reacts with iron 2 ions. By the way, iron 2 ions reducing agent, while chlorine is an oxidizing agent. Substance, which statement about this reaction is correct? Chlorine is oxidized. No, chlorine is reduced because its oxidation state changes from 0 to -1. So technically it is getting reduced, right? Not oxidized. So this statement is wrong. Chloride ions are formed by the loss of electron, by the gain of electron. Gain of electron. All right. Iron 2 ions have gain of electrons. Since iron 2 ions are a reducing agent, they are oxidized into iron 3 ions. So during the oxidation, they will lose electron, cannot gain. So C is incorrect. Right answer is going to be D. Iron 3 ions are formed by oxidation. That's right. Chlorine is an oxidizing agent. It oxidizes iron 2 ions into iron 3 ions. All right. So 18 is basically D is going to be the right answer. Question number 19, which statement is correct? A base will react with ammonium salt to produce a gas that turns damp blue litmus paper into red. That's absolutely incorrect, because when gas is produced, it changes damp red litmus paper into blue, not red, because this has to be the alkaline gas. This must be the ammonia gas. Okay, so 19A is wrong. Adding a base to an acidic solution will increase the pH of the solution. That's right. So acidic solution has a lower pH. When you add alkali into it, there is an acid-base reaction. As a result, concentration of hydrogen ions decreases, and so pH value increases. So B is going to be the right answer. Okay. Information about three oxides Q, R, and T is given. Q reacts with dilute sulfuric acid to form a salt and water. So that must be basic oxide, because it is reacting with an acid. All right. So Q is basic oxide. R reacts with both acid and bases to form salt and water. That means R is amphoteric. Okay. Next, T reacts with aqueous sodium hydroxide to form salt and water, which means T is basically an acidic oxide. Which row correctly describe three oxides? So Q is basic, R is amphoteric, and T is acidic. So right answer is going to be D. Which definition of a hydrated substance is correct? A hydrated substance is a soluble ionic compound such as barium sulfate. That's absolutely incorrect, because barium sulfate is not soluble. It is insoluble. Okay. A hydrated substance is an ionic compound that contains no water. Hydrated means contain water. All right, hydrated means contain water. So it has water, which is why B is also incorrect. A hydrated substance is one that is chemically combined with hydrogen. Chemically combined with, not hydrogen, with water. And that's called water of crystallization. So answer is going to be a D. A hydrated substance is one that is chemically combined with water. That is a powerful statement. Correct statement. 21D. 22. A student has 5 reagents: dilute hydrochloric acid, dilute sulfuric acid, dilute nitric acid, solid calcium carbonate, solid copper 2 carbonate. How many soluble salts can be prepared from these 5 reagents? So I've told you in the class, metal and acid, when react together, soluble salt is produced. You can check even my notes. Then metal oxide and acid gives you the same soluble salt. Then metal carbonates and acid, when react together, definitely soluble salt is produced. Then metal hydroxide and acid are reacting together, converting into soluble salt. So I believe this when treated with metal, this when treated with metal oxide, this when treated with metal and metal oxide, acid and acid can react with calcium carbonate from salt and water and carbon dioxide. So I believe all of them are correct. Then 22C. All right. C. On these 3 acid, I can use this one and I can use this one as well. Right. So both are applicable for these 3 acids. But for these 2, I can go for it. So all of them can form soluble salts when they will be treated with acid. The table shows the number of electrons in one atom of each of the element X, Y, and Z. Which statement is correct? Okay. W and Z are in the same group of the periodic table. W and Z. I think so. Because if W has 9 electrons, which means first shell contain 2 and second shell contains 7. And let's talk about Z, which has 35 electrons. First shell 2, second shell 8, third shell 8. Then, sorry, 18 and 20, 20 and 28, 7. Just let me check my calculation. 18 plus 8 plus 2 plus 7. Yes. So both of them have 7 electrons in the valence shell. Which means both of them are found in the same group of the periodic table. That is group 7. Right? So answer A. But let me check. Let me check. X is a metal, not at all. If it has 15 electrons, which means it contains first 2 electrons in the first shell, 8 electrons in the second shell, and 5 electrons in the valence shell. Since it contains 5 valence electrons, which means it belongs to group 5, and group 5 elements are technically non-metals. So option B is incorrect. Okay. X and Y will form the compound X3Y. X and Y. Y. Let me check Y. First shell contain 2, second shell contain 8, third shell contain 8, fourth shell contain 1. So it contains 1 electron in its valence shell, which means it is metal. It is group 1, right? So this is Y and this is X, right? So Y has +1 and X has 3 minus charge. If you cross multiply these charges, you will get X, Y, 3, not X3Y. C is incorrect. Y is a non-metal. Y is a metal, group 1 element, which is wrong. 24. Some properties of elements group 7 and the reason for these properties are shown. Which row shows a property and the reason for this property? All the element exists is diatomic molecule. That's right. All group 7 elements exist in diatomic state, which is represented by X2. So that's right. Each atom has 7 electrons in the outer shell. That's right, because it is belong to group 7 element, so it has 7 valence electrons. That's absolutely fine. And can share a pair of electrons. That's also right, because a single covalent bond is formed when one electron of each element share together, and that's called the shared pair of electron. So A is going to be the right answer. Let me check the other options. The elements are classified as metal. Wrong, because group 7 elements are halogens, and halogens are non-metals, right? They are not metals. They are non-metals, not metals. Option B is incorrect. Iodine displaces bromine. Absolutely incorrect, because bromine is more reactive than iodine, so iodine cannot displaces bromine. The boiling point increases as the group ascended. That's right. Why? Because it becomes harder to break the covalent bond. Cannot break the covalent bond. It is harder to break the intermolecular forces, not the covalent bonds. I've told you in the class, we cannot break a covalent bond in order to get the boiling point. We always break the intermolecular forces in order to find the melting and boiling point of any group 7 element. Okay. So obviously A is going to be the right answer. Question 25. Aircraft manufacturers requires metals that has a relatively low density, resistant to corrosion. Which property apply to aluminum? Both. Aluminum has low density. Aluminum is less corrosion to resistant. So both 1 and 2 options are right, and therefore A is going to be the right answer. Question number 26, which diagram represents an alloy? Option A is graphite, which is wrong. Option B is basically metals, which is also wrong. Option C is diamond, which is also wrong. So right answer is going to be D, because in D we have different sizes of atom. Okay, and that represents an alloy. A small piece of metal is added to larger beaker of water. A vigorous reaction occurs. When the reaction stops, a few drops of litmus are added to the solution. What is the metal and which color is the solution after the litmus is added? Now, calcium and magnesium, right? So down the group, reactivity increases, which means so calcium is more reactive, than magnesium. So vigorous reaction takes place. So more vigorous reaction takes place in magnesium instead of more vigorous reaction takes place in calcium instead of magnesium. And when calcium reacts with water, it will turn to calcium hydroxide and a hydrogen gas. And calcium hydroxide is basically an alkali. So it changes its color from red to blue. So blue is here, blue is here. I believe A is going to be the right answer. Okay. So when we add few drops of litmus into this solution, which is an alkali, obviously it changes color from red to blue. 28. The rusting of iron can be prevented by coating the iron with another material. Which statement explains why coating with zinc is more effective than painting? Because zinc is more reactive. The zinc is more reactive, right? So if the coating is damaged, zinc corrodes instead of iron. That is the whole point, and that's the right answer. Because zinc is more reactive, it can easily oxidize and loses electron. So it can easily oxidizes and loses electron. All right. So obviously A is going to be the right answer. Iron is above zinc in the reactivity series. No, zinc is more reactive than iron. Zinc does not react with air or water. Zinc can react with air. Can react. Zinc forms an unreactive alloy coating with iron, not at all. Zinc forms an alloy, and alloy doesn't need any coating with iron actually. The list shows the position of metal X in the reactivity series of metal. Please send cats, monkeys, and zebras in large, huge cases. So basically, it is lead. X is lead. Which method can be used to extract metal? Electrolysis of solid metal oxide. That's right, I believe, because the aluminum oxide can be extracted from its metal oxide. All right. But no, no. Lead cannot be extracted through electrolysis of its metal oxide. That's not possible because it has a less reactive element. Electrolysis is used when more reactive metal is used. Lead is less reactive, so we cannot use this process. Heating the metal oxide with carbon, that's right, because lead is very less reactive, so it's oxide. When treated with carbon, obviously it will turn to carbon monoxide and lead, and that's how we can extract it. So second option is correct. Heating the metal oxide with copper, no, because copper is less reactive than lead, cannot displace it. So only 2 is correct from my perspective. 29C is going to be the right answer. Okay. In the third option, you can write copper. Oops. Copper is less reactive than lead. Cannot displace lead from its oxide. Okay. Question number 30. Which statement about water is correct? Distillation is used to remove insoluble impurities. In the domestic water supply, I don't think so. Distillation is not used. For insoluble impurities, we can use sedimentation, not distillation. Okay. Next, option B, water containing impurities turns anhydrous copper to sulfate blue. That's correct. That's the test for water. Option C, water containing impurities turns cobalt to chloride paper blue. That's incorrect. Why? Because they haven't written clearly here whether it's anhydrous or hydrated. If it is anhydrous, then it's going to be correct. If it is hydrated, it's not going to be correct. So they have not given any clear instruction in the question whether it's anhydrous or hydrated, which is why I'm going to ignore this option. All right. Water containing impurities boils at 100. Actually, pure water boils at 100, but when you add impurities in it, boils above 100 degrees Celsius. Not exactly 100 degrees Celsius, because impurities increases the boiling point of water. So not exactly at 100, it relatively greater than 100, because impurities increases the temperature of water. All right. So option D is incorrect. So we are done with 30 questions. Let me take 2 minutes break. Question number 31. Some compounds can be used as fertilizers are listed. Ammonium nitrate has a formula of NH4NO3, and this fertilizer contain only nitrogen. If you remember, I've told you about NPK fertilizer, nitrogen base, phosphorus base, potassium base. So this potassium nitrate is basically KNO3, and this contain potassium and phosphorus. Potassium phosphate, K3PO4. So it contain, this contain potassium and nitrogen, whereas this contain potassium and phosphorus. And solid sodium phosphate is Na3PO4. So contain only phosphorus. 3 of the elements required for the plant growth have the atomic symbol NPK. How many of these 3 elements are present in each of the compound? Ammonium nitrate contains only 1 nitrogen atom. Potassium nitrate has 2. Potassium phosphate has 2. And sodium phosphate has 1. And obviously B is going to be the right answer. Okay. Different strategies to reduce the effect of environmental issues have been suggested. Which row is correct? Strategy to reduce the effect of climate change, reduction in livestock farming. Reduction in livestock farming is right because it reduces the formation of methane gas. All right. And for that, plant trees, no. Using low sulfur fuels, yes. So I think B is going to be the right answer. We cannot go for the reduction in the use of renewable source of energy because renewable source of energy is good for us, right? So we cannot reduce it. Which statement about organic compound is correct? Each molecule of propane 1-ol has one OH group. That's right. Because propane 1-ol has only one OH group. And each molecule of propane 2-ol has two OH group. That's absolutely incorrect because propane 2-ol has also one OH group, not two. It has one OH group. Okay. Propane 1-ol. Let me show you propane 1-ol. This is propane 1-ol. So it has only one OH. Now let's talk about propane 2-ol. This is CH3. This is CH, OH. This is CH3. So this is one OH. So both of them contain one OH. So option A is incorrect. Octane and decane are in the homologous series with general formula CnH2n. Octane, it is an alkane. It is also an alkane. And this general formula shows alkene. So it's again incorrect. It must be CnH2n plus 2 as both octane and decane are alkenes. So B is incorrect. The ester butyl ethanoate has 8 carbon atom in each molecule. That's true. Butyl comes from butane, which has 4 carbon atom. And butanoate has also 4 carbon atom. So in total, we have 8 carbon atoms. So that's right. Option C is going to be the right answer. The structure of the functional group in carboxylic acid is this. No, it's incorrect because the structure of functional group in carboxylic acid has to be like this, in which carbon oxygen has double bond. Also, carbon oxygen has single bond. So that's the right structure. Let me show you the structure of butyl butanoate. Butyl butanoate. Butanoate is this: CH3, CH2, CH2, CO, O. Butyl. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is butyl and this is butanoate. How many carbon atoms we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what the examiner has written in the option, right? Question number 34. In the fractional distillation of petroleum, different fractions are obtained at the top and bottom of the fractionating column. Which properties does the fraction obtain at the top of the fractionating column? At the top of the fractionating column, low boiling point, high volatility, higher flammability, shorter carbon chain, okay, and lower viscosity. So lower boiling point, this correct. Lower volatility, no. Shorter chain, yes. Higher viscosity, no, it has lower viscosity. So I think 2 and 4, C is going to be the right answer. Okay. Question number 35. A chlorine atom can replace a hydrogen atom in a molecule of butane to form chlorobutane. How many different structural isomers of chlorobutane can we form? See guys, this is chlorobutane. CH3, CH2, 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 Cl. That's called 1-chlorobutane. Why 1-chloro? Because this is first carbon, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. Now on the first carbon atom we have 1 chlorine, so it's 1-chloro, and 4 carbon atom is butane, so it's 1-chlorobutane. Let me give you another isomer. This is CH3, this is CHCl, this is CH2, and this is CH3. So this is basically 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. First, we need to provide the number of carbon atom from both the left hand side and from the right hand side. So from the right hand side, position of chlorine is 3. From the left hand side, position of chlorine is 2. So I'll go for the minimum value. So I'll go for the left hand side. So according to the left hand side, chlorine is present in the second carbon atom. So it's basically 2-chloro, and 4 carbon atom is butane. So it's basically 2-chloro butane. So we have only 2 isomer in this regard. So B is going to be the right answer. Question 36. 2 statements are shown. When ethanol is made from glucose by fermentation, this is glucose C6H12O6. So in fermentation, I'll get 2 moles of ethanol and 2 moles of carbon dioxide. Produces 3 molecules of ethanol. Produces 3 molecules, not 3, 2 molecules. All right. The statement 1 is incorrect. Talk about the statement 2. When ethanoic acid is made from ethanol, the ethanol acts as an oxidizing agent. No, ethanol is acting as a reducing agent because KMnO4 is the oxidizing agent. You can check in my notes. So right answer is going to be D. 37. Polymer X is an addition polymer. The monomer used to make X is butanene. So let me give you the structure of butanene. This is the structure of butanene. All right. Polymer Y is a condensation polymer. The monomer used to make Y are diols and dicarboxylic acids. So diols and dicarboxylic acids, when react together, always esters are formed. Diols. These are the diols, and these are the dicarboxylic acid. So diols and dicarboxylic acids react together to give polyester. This is polyester, this is polyester. And the repeating unit for X is going to be like this. This is the repeating unit for X. And this is Y. So check which one is written in this. This is CH3CH2, and CH3CH2 is basically C2H5, right? So this is C2H5, CH, single bond CH2. So this is your right. Right answer is going to be D. I hope it makes sense to you. Because this CH3CH2 is technically C2H5. So instead of writing CH3, CH2, examiner has written C2H5. So it doesn't make any difference. This is incorrect. This is also incorrect because this is not C2H5. Okay. Let's move on. Question number 38. Which statement is correct? A filtrate is a substance that remains on the filter paper. That's incorrect. Residue is technically trapped on the filter paper, not filtrate. B. A saturated solution has the maximum amount of solvent dissolved in a solute. Again, it is incorrect because solute dissolves in solvent. Okay. Option C. A solution is a compound produced when solute reacts with a solvent. I don't think so they will react. They cannot react. A substance that remains in the heated flask after distillation is called a residue. That's correct. That's correct. Okay. When a solute is placed in a solvent, then it will dissolve, cannot react. Okay. Which is why D is going to be the right answer. Because distillation is used to separate solid from liquid. So liquid as a filtrate will receive in the receiver flask, whereas the solid will exist in the distillation flask, and that solid will turn as residue. Okay. Now the next is the diagram shows a chromatogram. Which spot has an RF value of 0.75? Technically, we need to find the RF value for each spot, and the spot that will give you 0.75 is going to be your correct option. This is 2.5. This is 3. So let me check. Let me check. RFA. RFA. This is 2.5 divided by distance traveled by solvent, which is 9. Distance traveled by solvent, which is 9. Let me check. 2.5 divided by 9 is going to be 0.27. Okay. Then let me check RFB. B has a distance of 3 divided by distance traveled by solvent, which is 9. So 3 by 9 is basically 0.33. Then retention value for spot C. C is 7. 7 divided by 9 is going to be 0.77. And I think that's the right answer. 0.77 is 0.75. C is going to be the right answer, I believe. Let me check D also. It's 7.5 divided by 9. 7.5 divided by 9 is going to be 0.83. Yeah. So technically A wrong, B wrong, B wrong. Correct answer is C because this value matches the given value in the question. Okay. It's almost the same. 7 divided by 9. Question number 40. That's your last question. The results of some test on polluted river water are shown. Aqueous sodium hydroxide, white precipitates. Precipitates dissolves to give a colorless solution. This test shows that solution either contain aluminum ions, zinc ions, or calcium ions, right? With aqueous ammonia, white precipitates will remain, no further change. No further change means calcium absent because calcium cannot give positive test with aqueous ammonia. Calcium absent. Now competition exists between aluminum ions and zinc ions. Zinc with aqueous ammonia gives you a colorless solution. Over here, examiner is saying white precipitates, which means aluminum is going to be the right option. Because zinc is soluble both in aqueous sodium hydroxide and aqueous ammonia, whereas aluminum is soluble in NaOH and insoluble in aqueous ammonia, all right? So I believe A is going to be the right option. That's the end of this paper, guys. Thank you very much.